So yeah, let's go. Yes, I see you come soon. Oh, is she there? Okay. There you are. Okay, so officially, welcome everyone to Management Secret Seminar from Constructor Orchestra, or just me. The point of doing this is first to show everyone the way we can organize things better than it currently being organized around the place, and how it can be applicable to your personal level as well. But of course, we're also going to adopt this kind of framework in the club, so feel free to sign up and help managing. So since not all of us are in the orchestra, let me give a short background of how come the orchestra. So it came from Spotlight 2023. Some random guys just circle around my table asking me to join them, and that's the beginning for me. So the Spotlight that just done marks 1 year anniversary of the club actually. And this is the little survey I gave, a little application form for anyone joining, to like what they expect when joining the club, and this majority of people wanting to have fun, wanting to play music, and as you can see there. So that's kind of what I try to keep as a guiding value when choosing music program and stuff like that. And yeah, we've done a lot. So last semester we participated in 5 different activities. This semester, how much? 7. But that's probably going to be the peak. I don't plan on being busier than this. And yeah, these are the list of the current performers. So you may see your name there, of course. We also have many people that did join us perform together, even if not in the club. And some of them waiting to participate. So this is the main agenda for today. I plan to introduce the way to manage things different than what's being done. So mainly inspired by this book and also my experience. I'm pretty old for freshie. I'm turning 24 later this year. So I've been spending almost half a decade investing in stocks, and to do that I have to know the company. So I have to know the background of their CEO, of their management. How come they become a successful company? What have they done to become successful? That's one of the fundamental reasons to invest in any company for me. So I've been taking notes from them for 4 years and reading a lot from this book, and I plan to convert that, what we can apply to our club, university, activity, and even on personal level. So the framework is called Scrum. There are 5 main focus of that. So first thing is you have to be united by a purpose. You have to work together wanting to be more than just average or just ordinary. And yeah, let's just go into one of them. Why transcendent? Because for something to happen and turn out to be great, you have to first believe that you can do great. So in the picture here is SpaceX 2005, before they successfully launched a rocket. There were just dozens of engineers working in an island away from land, doing something people have been telling them was impossible. And many of you will know today that it's very much possible. They just have to believe that they could do the impossible, they could be great. That's the first step. So second is why cross-functional team. I borrow example from my friend that works in a software development company. So instead of having a team, different team handing work over from one team to another, they divide it by purpose or by project. So say you have a task of developing a game. You get a team to work on this game. It consists of front-end developer, how it will look like, back-end developer, how the algorithm will function behind, and marketing and all that stuff, because then that's the bubble you work in. You know what's going on inside, instead of passing the information around, which I will show you very soon why it's very inefficient. And one key thing of doing using the Scrum framework is to keep doing a demo, keep testing your prototype, see if it fits the need of the user or your customer. Because SLS, not the university SLS, but still, that philosophy is to develop one final product without testing. So since 2011, they've been designing, at that time, the biggest rocket ever. So they don't test, they don't iterate. They just work on one thing, because their idea was that testing or prototyping will cost more and stuff like that. But 10 years later, this is pretty old, been 4 years already. So they got a bunch of testbed rockets. That's what they got at the cost of $11 billion. But one company that adopted the framework of Scrum very well, I already mentioned them, SpaceX, been working on Starship. So this is not the product of their whole program. This is what they got in 1 year. So they developed 5 prototype rockets. They already tested and blew up 3 of them. A bunch of many more engines and stuff. And they keep testing to see if the products do make sense by the time they actually go to the moon or Mars. In contrast, if we look back at the SLS, by the time they almost test the Boeing's Starliner yesterday, but they cancel it. But by the time this thing becomes a reality, it's already way out of date. So that's also one of the problem when you don't demo is your finished product no longer serves the customer's need or user's purpose. So that's one advantage of always do a demo. And why autonomy? So what I always try to emphasize is for each team to have their own decision-making ability. Because without this is more or less how things are organized or communicated normally on campus level activity. So someone has an idea, tell it to their team leader. The team leader reports to the organization or club leader, of course, probably waiting for some meeting. Then they assign it to someone who's in charge of communicating to other parties that, okay, you pass on this set of information. The leader of that committee pass on to that member, so that the member talks to the member of other organization or club, and then wait for a meeting for the approval of a leader, and then for the information to be sent to someone who's in charge of communicating with other party, and it goes on. So it waits for probably the meeting of what exactly we're going to do here, before the information can start being transmitted back in the very same fashion until here, and then only then can it be spread to the third party, whoever work with us. So the point I'm bringing this up is not to make any organizer or anyone look bad, because they're extremely passionate and hardworking people, and I admire them. But the problem is the system which they operate does not allow them to perform at their best. So that's why their effort, no matter how much they put into working, if this is how they work, it's not going to translate to the product, which of course for them is very, very frustrating and not so rewarding. That's why I want to introduce a framework that could benefit them as well. And 5 is the sprint. So how companies do it normally is that they get together at the end of, say, 2 weeks, discuss together, okay, what did not really work, how are we going to solve that? And they set a period of next 2 weeks, okay, we do our job next 2 weeks, see what other problem comes up, how much faster we work after solving the previous problem. So this point is that they could become more and more productive. They keep getting rid of what's in their way instead of just working the way we used to work, pretending that it's already good. Which is very sad, but is a reality in many cases. So I hope by introducing this kind of working framework will help solve the problem. So how are we going to adopt that framework? This is my plan application for orchestra. So we're going to divide it into different teams of management. Each team have their own goal to achieve, and they take whatever role they need to achieve that goal. It's not divided by role, but rather divided by purpose. For example, you're going to work on organizing some event, get together, we discuss, okay, this is information we get about event, how we're going to do, what music we're going to do, how we're going to PR, how we're going to communicate back to the organizer what thing needs to be prepared, stuff like that. Get together, work on that, instead of everyone working separately. And of course, the thing I want to emphasize, probably the most important agenda of today, is how to simplify communication. Because the thing I just showed you earlier about how information being transported back and forth for tens of stops is real. That happened. And if any one stop of that is unavailable, say I'm in lab, I can't forward the text from 2 to 6. Everyone knows how to wait. So that's very much inefficient. And that's why I came up with this idea of having a central information template where people involved can see the same set of information being made or changed. Say, same situation, somebody has an idea, discuss it with the leader, or maybe not, if they can bypass that. You edit the central information template, now everyone have access to it, can see it. So instead of waiting for information to be passed around, everyone involved can see it spontaneously. Even if I'm in lab, everyone else is still going to see it without waiting for me to finish lab and forward. So it's rather a simple solution, but it will require time to develop an actual framework for that, of course. So you can see how much more streamlined the communication is. This way, if there's a change being made from one party, just whoever in charge of, whoever has the power to edit the information can just make the change and everyone sees it without waiting. Say, orchestra is participating in some event and we need SLS for help. We make a list to SLS, okay, here, SLS and event organizer, we need this item, we need this item to be provided. They all see it, they can answer back, okay, this one we can provide, this one we cannot, so you've got to provide it yourself. But it can happen in much less steps than the way we used to do it. So I really do hope they will adopt this framework. I already got invitation from community coordinator to kind of give a training session to future club leaders and event organizers next year. So hopefully we can see this kind of idea being adopted, and it should help make experience in community much better. And of course, our own version of speeding up productivity is here. So the idea is for each team to have a little report of what they've done, but mainly focus on what's in their way, what prevents them from completing the work faster or better. Then we figure out, okay, how do we overcome that, and we write out a plan for next week. This thing I know that more or less in our mind we know what's right, what's wrong, but without writing it out, without planning exactly how we're going to solve them, we may just forget the problem very soon and did not capitalize on the chance to improve, because say we solve one problem per week for each team. Throughout 13 weeks, the whole team would have overcome 65 problems that prevent them from being productive and working fast. And well, for the whole academic year, 26 weeks or so, we would just have overcome 130 problems that's in our way. So at the end of the year, we'll be much more capable and productive than the beginning. That's the goal. That's the goal of why I work on this, why I want to introduce this framework, because not only do I think we should do it as a club or a club event or a university campus event, but do it in the way that we're becoming a better person in the end as well. So yeah, that's I very much encourage every other event or club organizer to adopt this, say for like thousands of times, sorry. And yes, of course, for what I said, chopping up your problem from a big chunk of virtually unsolvable into smaller workable problem and start solving them one by one and stuff like that. It's also useful for your own personal life when you face some kind of problem. So I hope that working with this kind of mentality will give you that ability to deal with your personal problem better as well. So how will it look inside the orchestra? So currently there are 5 teams running it. So there are PR team working on promotion and making the clubbing more recognizable. There's music team working on preparing the music program, arranging, providing music, and newly born, the event organizer team in charge of designing how the event will look like, the theme, the outfit, the stage layout. And very recently at Spotlight, it's the first demonstration of all the things I talked about. So instead of normally having everything to be supervised or go through me, I said to the team, okay, now you're the boss of this area. You have some brilliant idea. I'm just watching, but you go ahead, you take charge of that. And they were given actually the freedom to design, to come up with a theme, to go full crazy blossom stuff, and that's when they work the best. Not when I suppress them to, okay, follow this from me, follow that from me. That's not when they work the best. So when given a chance to work the best, I'm very, very impressed with what they came up and how they able to make our show at Spotlight look rather spectacular. There's a finance team mainly responsible for managing money. For example, funding application, how they deal with the FAC, and I plan to have them track the club expense in general as well, because in the future I'm already in talk with community coordinator about external sponsors, so they would also like to know the detail about general club expense as well. And this internal operation, so far we've only been doing just pick up the key, open the practice room and stuff, but I have a lot planned for this team in the future. So as I said about music, not everyone in the team has to arrange or anything. They can just come by, drop a suggestion, okay, let's do this, let's do that, or the program we've been doing is too difficult, too easy, too slow, too fast. They are able to give feedback so that the music program in the future is more suitable for our musicians. And for internal operation, if you saw that the communication scheme I show you, it's also applied to inside the club as well. Can you check if it's the recording, if it's already 30 minutes? Okay.
Soon.
Okay. Can we like stop and restart recording and then so it goes on for another 30 minutes?
It's still thinking, right?
20, oh, it's just 20 minutes.
It's just 20?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Old people's story. So as I said earlier, when say the PR team wants to do some promotional material, now what prevents them from working optimally is that they are not provided with the information of what are we doing, what music are we playing, or how the event is going to look like. So the job for the internal operation team is to make that kind of central information template for the club. So that if you want to PR something, you can see exactly what each team is up to. We're going to do this music, the event will look like this is our financial situation, blah, blah, blah. So it's much easier for everyone to be on the same page within the club. And for event, of course, I already talked about that. The same kind of information template being made for many event organizer and SLS for them to see what we need and what they can provide or cannot. So this thing can also be co-developed with the internal operation team, because later on, when I have an idea of who's going to be in each team, I start giving kind of an idea where do we start, what. Yeah, but the detail can be discussed later, and this is finance already discussed. Yeah, for PR, I haven't had too much clue about how to do that kind of in a better way than most other people do. So I kind of try to look outside or think of when we design something, what we want to design. We have to know what's our target group, who are we trying to reach. We have to know how we're going to reach each one of the groups, so that, okay, if we want to promote this to older people, we probably won't do it on Instagram or TikTok, right? If we want to promote it to people more personally, and the club mailing list, the college mailing list not working, maybe we try to print something into their mailbox or something. And only when you have an idea of what channel you're going to promote it, you can start thinking about, okay, what kind of information fits in that particular channel. So that's a guideline of how you design and put out the suitable media for each channel, which of course I'm not good at this. You're going to be the boss going on with it. Okay, so I figure not everyone's going to want to join orchestra, rightfully so. So I kind of want to show you how it looks like on a personal level, and I don't want to violate anyone's privacy, so I use mine. So of course I do kind of many things, as I mentioned. I have a job outside of studying. I am an investor, kind of invest my family asset into something, into stock. So what I normally do is I look at my timesheet, when am I available to study, and fill in, okay, this time I study this time I study that. But how do I know if that fits, if that's suitable plan? I have to know how fast I work. Meaning I have to measure the pace of how long it takes for me to complete one chapter or one lecture. So that refers back to the sprinting part of the Scrum for company. That's when you apply it to personal level. You work on optimizing your own working pace. And of course, instead of keep adding what to do, I don't have to do this, but I have to not do this. What I can just not do and won't affect my productivity or my future, what I can get rid of and not put me in danger, then I'll get rid of it. So that instead of keep filling your list of what to do, you're actually cleaning it up to only leave what's essential for you in there for you to do. Otherwise, we're never going to have enough time to do everything. So of course, to be able to do that, I kind of have to keep my physical and mental health in the right operating window, meaning, okay, this, I have to admit, I'm still not nowhere near perfect. So the idea is sleep enough, eat enough, exercise enough, live in a clean place. The sleeping part, I think you all know that I fail to sleep, but ultimately you should. Don't copy me in that. Yeah, that's actually no matter how hard you study, I still, probably the only reason I can do this for a long time is to not study or to not work sometime, go out for a walk, for a bike trip, go play some sports with some guys down here probably. But why do you do all of that? Why? So if we go back to my very first slide, I have many classes, I have a job, I have a side project, I run a club. The only reason I think I can do this is because I'm internally driven. You kind of have to know why you're doing that for, otherwise all the very top steps of the pyramid will be kind of pointless. If you don't know, why would you study so hard for that? What will that benefit your future self? So I very much suggest to kind of invest time to think about what would you actually want to do in the future and what will benefit your future self, and kind of plan your path according to that. Is anyone here from in foundation year? No? Not really? He was, we were together. But this is one of the things we were told to make as the class final presentation. So we were asked what we want to do in the future instead of just saying what I want to do. I plan out a step, what I want to achieve, and who must I become to achieve that. So I look from the end goal back to the present. Okay, what must I do? And from here, how do I connect to those steps? So I made it, this one was made in last year, but the plan was done in 2017, back when I was still in Thailand. So back then the idea was, okay, how do I get to study, say, BCCD? In my home country, no disrespect, but they don't really offer that high quality of this degree. So I looked, okay, where in the world offers this degree of high quality? Is Germany, several other countries, but yeah, Germany in the end became my choice. So then I came to Germany, and then I looked, okay, what other skill I need to get myself there? One of that thing being managing people, managing a company. So how do I get a demo? Of course, I start a club. Then I start, okay, how do I get better at managing a club, managing people? This here, what I'm doing is also one step of preparing myself, preparing for my future self, so that in the next 10 or 15 years, he will probably look back and be thankful for what I'm doing today. So yeah, I hope more or less what I introduced to you today will be useful, whether in your university experience, your working experience, or even on your personal life. And yeah,